You are more than the sum of your parts. You're more than the sum of your parts. You are more than the sum of your parts. And I know that seems strange to say, and I know it seems like, well, obviously I know that, but do you? Do you really know that? It's something I've struggled with. The fact that you are more than what people assume of you. You are more than the things that have happened to you. You are more than the things that you have done. Your reactions to those things, how you choose to move forward. That is what is important. Obviously, if you've done shitty things, you should atone for them. You should apologize. You should make it right, or try to. Some people you'll try to apologize to, and they just won't allow you to make it right. And that's just life. And that's another hard lesson that I've had to learn. But the point is that you are more than the sum of your parts. There is a common phrase spoken in the game mouthwashing. It came out a couple months ago. And I know this is kind of like a cringe thing to bring up, but I mean, media is important, and there's a lot of good messaging in media. And although the way it is used in that game, the specific phrase is used in that game, is maybe not exactly on point, the surface level words that it uses is correct. We are more than our worst moments. Because we are. We simply are. Now, if you choose to not improve, if you choose to go through life doing the same thing over and over and over again, and being mad when nothing changes, that's a problem, and that's something that you have to deal with, and that's something that is going to take a lot of, inward reflection and reconciliation on your part. And I've fallen victim to that. I think most people have. I'm not special in that way, but just because it's not a unique experience doesn't make it a valid experience. So when I say we are not our worst moments, maybe you've done something heinous. Maybe you've said something heinous. Maybe you acted in a heinous way. That doesn't mean you don't deserve to be happy. The best piece of advice I can give to anybody that is going through a tumultuous time in their life is look inside. What is missing from your life? What are you yearning for? What is it that you want? And how well does it correlate to your needs? How doable is it? And if it's not doable at all, at some point it will be. And you have to believe that. Because if you don't believe that, if you don't believe that it can get better, then it won't. It never will. You have to believe it. A lot of people are scared of therapy. I 100% recommend it. And you can't just... It's really easy to go into a room and try to make someone feel sorry for you and try to boost your own ego. But a lot of bullshit can be circumvented if you're just honest. If you just stay honest the entire way through, your life is going to be significantly easier. Because if it's one thing that I've learned, it's that this is a grade school, very obvious thing, but like lying is bad. Who would have thought? Ridiculous. Either way, go to therapy. And I can guarantee you that he's, or she, or they, are going to tell you something similar to what I'm telling you. You don't have to be you from a year ago. You don't have to be you from a week ago. If you choose to be a new and good person today, as long as you're working on yourself, people don't have the right to judge you for what you did the day before. Morality is very fluid, just like gender, just like any kind of personality trait. Humans are complicated and ever evolving, and that's an obvious thing to anybody, but I think a lot of people forget that. The world isn't black and white, you know. There's a lot of nuance to every situation, and unfortunately, if you're dealing with a situation where people refuse to see nuance, then it is what it is. You can't help it. You can't help other people into being smarter folk unless you're trained for it, right? And even then, I'm a teacher, for God's sake, you know. Um, it's even difficult for me to, guide students into, I won't say the correct way of thinking, but in a way of thinking that allows for critical thought. Uh, it's something that's challenging even for people that are licensed to do it, or uh, people who have been doing it for 10 or plus years, and that's not me, but it's challenging, and in our interpersonal relationships, there's no way in hell that, you know, I don't know, a confused 20-year-old is going to come away enlightened or see every little thought. Um, every little thought that you've given them. Um, that's just not how it works. Uh, and I guess the one thing in my, not old age, but older age that I've kind of realized is, no one is actively out to get you the way you think. Look, if there's a serial killer running around, that's one thing. But in a realistic scenario that actually affects the mass populace, you dissecting something, poking holes in it, putting pressure on something is one thing. And when someone is attacking you, and you can recognize they're attacking you, whether it be verbally or more of the easy way, physically, to recognize, um, you know, that's fantastic. Um, but it's important to recognize when people are not attacking you. Uh, there's going to be a lot of points in your life where, um, you know, you're trying to go about it, and someone is either criticizing you or saying mean shit to you, um, and it's not always an attack on your character, and that's something I had to learn a couple years ago. Um, uh, and a skill that comes with recognizing what is a personal attack and what is not is that you were then able to kind of distinguish uh, who is your friend. Who are your actual people that care about you genuinely? Because there's a million people out there that will claim to love you, claim to care about you, claim to be your friend, and then treat you like garbage. And it's happened to me. And I've even done it. I think everyone has, right? I don't know. Maybe not. I could just be a psychopath or sociopath. Anyway, point is that none of us are free of sin in this. And maybe I'm just self-reporting as a bad person, but like I'm not afraid to admit, I've done some fucked shit. I've done some not so savory stuff. But at the end of the day, the want to improve makes you a better person. I don't actively hate anybody I know in my life, in my real, actual life, away from the videos and the music and everything. This is just Luke talking to you. Um, I feel like hatred is such a childish thing at this point. I used to be full of hatred completely, and over the years it's kind of waned down, and I don't even know if it's more of a maturity thing or more of I just don't have the energy. I just don't have the energy to hate, because the only thing it does is affect you. Um, Even if the person that you hate also hates you, you gain nothing from hating them, from harboring hatred in your heart. And a lot of people ask me, they say, Luke, you should hate this person. Look what they did to you. They're evil. And to that I say, I can't bring myself to. I can't bring myself to even care. Uh, there are people in my life that have done horrible, awful, despicable, and abusive things to me, and I still can't bring myself to hate them. And I'm a Christian, in not in a very specific way. Well, I guess this is specific, but not in a very like go to church, read the Bible kind of way, but I'm sure there's a term for this, but following the teachings of Jesus Christ, um, kind of honoring what he was, all of his, all the commie and socialist and left wing messages that he was preaching. Um, I feel like in kind of practicing this weird sort of pseudo-Christian belief, um, I am better off, because over time I've just kind of learned to not hate. You know, people will go so far to try to make you hate them without even realizing it. They will go so far as to even accuse you of hating them, of being obsessed with hating them, um, in weird ways. Stuff that just isn't even pertinent to the conversation or isn't true, because hurt people just want to hurt. Uh, they find themselves in this vicious cycle of spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. And I found myself in that cycle. I've done this. Everything that I'm talking about in this current moment is all stuff that I am guilty of. I'm not on a high horse. I'm not putting myself above any one person or any millions of people. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't accomplish anything. And I have no room to talk about what is correct and what is right and how a person should be. All I know for sure is what I know. And what I know is that as long as you're trying to be a better person and you're not hurting other people while trying to be a better person, you have nothing to apologize for. Sometimes you need to defend yourself. There's going to be people that are going to try to hurt you, unfortunately, in this world. Whether they mean to do it on purpose or they actively are trying to do it. Hopefully it's not the latter, because, that would be really fucked up. But I guess with this whole thing that I'm trying to say, just to kind of close this out, because I'm going on 12 minutes and I'm rambling, is don't hate. You need to accept the position that you're in, but you don't need to be complacent. Work to change it, but understand how you got there to begin with. I understand how I got to my situation completely. It was a series of horrible decisions and choices, coupled with the actions of another person. And it's mainly me. I've put myself in this spot, but I recognize that I put myself in this spot, and now I am laying in the bed that I have made for myself. And as long as you recognize that, while at the same time recognizing that that is not okay, and that you should be trying to move forward, that's all you can really hope for. We're not bad people. Outside of, the extreme cases like, serial killers and rapists and all of that. Bad is a fluid thing. Evil doesn't truly exist in the way that we think it is, the way that we think it does, because it's a complicated thing. What is evil to you is a misunderstanding for another person, or a moment of weakness, or something along those lines. So in closing, we are not our worst moments. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, keep getting back up each time. Because the moment you stop getting up, the moment you stop trying, is when all of the bad parts about humanity wins. So with that being said, have a good rest of your Tuesday, and I hope you got something from this. I don't even know what I got from it, but if you're watching this, good luck, Godspeed, God bless, and I hope you have a good day, no matter who you are, and I mean that.